Good afternoon. We're following developing news out of the courts this hour. A Toronto judge has ruled the lawyer accused of helping a Canadian ex-Olympian accused of being a drug lord will get bail.
The judge reasoning that the lawyer will cooperate with the justice system in an effort to stay alive. CTV's Jon Woodward was in the hearing this morning and joins us live with the latest. John.
Natalie, just moments ago, Justice Peter Vaughan told the people assembled in the court that this is a case with very little precedent in Canada. Should he release Deepak Paradkar, a lawyer who's called himself cocaine lawyer on Instagram and is accused of giving legal advice to Ryan Wedding to kill a witness to escape a prosecution? Very serious, but in the end, Justice Vaughan settled on release, reasoning that the 62-year-old will put down $5 million, the value of his home, and be in house arrest with the supervision of his wife, who's a paralegal. Paradkar will be electronically monitored. Vaughan said Paradkar's life is in danger whether he's in or out of jail, and he considered the submission by the Attorney General that Paradkar could escape with the network of fugitive Ryan Wedding, but he said, and this is a quote, "The troubling reality is that these individuals are more likely to kill Mr. Paradkar than to protect him in exchange for silence. The most compelling reason to believe that Mr. Paradkar will attend court is that it may be the only way to stay alive." And you can see some of the irony there. Paradkar is accused of offering similar advice to Wedding with other witnesses. Now, this hearing is continuing now. They do have some details about the release arrangement to sort out, and we'll follow that for you. Reporting live from 361 University, I'm Jon Woodward. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, John. And two people are fighting for their lives in hospital after they were pulled from an early morning blaze at a Scarborough home.
Fire Chief Jim Jessup says crews arrived to heavy smoke and flame and heroically entered the home to rescue the two individuals. CTV's Janice Golding joins us now live from the scene on Washburn Way for the latest on the investigation. Janice.
Hi, Natalie. As you can see, fire crews are still here at the scene of this devastating house fire that injured two people critically. Now, fire officials tell us that they were called to this home on Snowball Crescent near Nielsen and Shepherd just before 5:30 a.m. Crews arrived very quickly and made immediate entry given they had been advised there were people inside. Firefighters fought their way through heavy flame and smoke to locate two victims on the second floor, which is where the fire was most intense. They quickly got the two out of the home and they were rushed to hospital via emergency run with critical life-threatening injuries. Given how serious the injuries were, the fire marshal's office was called in to investigate. However, at this point, it's far too soon to say where or how the blaze started. Fire officials only saying the blaze spread very quickly, with the heaviest damage being to the second floor.
Just incredible work by my people, getting up there quickly, fighting their way through that heavy flame and smoke, and very quickly locating the two occupants. So it spread fast. Obviously, we don't know what happened at this point, but you know, I've been able to take a half-decent look in there, and the fire conditions were very heavy.
So sad. So some guy is a very good guy, right? So sometimes it's a mistake, right?
Pretty saddened. I mean, like, because it's so close to Christmas and everything. So essentially, I was worried if there was anyone in there. Like, I don't really see, I guess, them a whole lot. So yeah, just the idea of them having to deal with this so close to Christmas.
Now, just a couple minutes ago, I did speak to a family member of the two victims, and he tells me that his brother and sister-in-law are on ventilators in hospital. They were non-responsive when he got there. He tells me that they're a man and their woman who are in their early 60s with 3 children, 2 of whom actually live in the home but were not present last night at the time of the blaze. Another child is en route home from Edmonton to make sure she is here for her family. Reporting live, I'm Janice Golding. Now back to Natalie.
Okay, thank you, Janice. And it was a dramatic scene in Vaughan last night as crews battled a fire at a mansion. Vaughan Fire Services says the call came in around 1 a.m. and that the fire was fully involved once crews arrived to the scene. 26 firefighters responded, and thankfully no injuries have been reported. The Ontario Fire Marshal has been notified, and an investigation into the cause of the flames is underway. Officials say the house is a total loss. And turning now to Oshawa, where the hunt is on for a suspect after a man was fatally stabbed early this morning.
A home near where the man was found is believed to be linked to the incident, but police would not say how it's connected. CTV's Sean Leathong joins us live from the scene with the latest on the investigation. Sean.
Well, Nathan and Natalie, I'm standing on Park Road South between John and King in Oshawa. You can see the area is completely closed off behind me. Now, there is a police tent. That's where the man was found at about 4:15 this morning, which is when police were called. Now, what they're saying is the man was found with several stab wounds. He was taken to an area hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. Now, there was no age given, and they're working on a possible identification of the man, so police haven't released that at this time. As far as suspect description, they said they don't have any description on a suspect just yet. So what we know, 4:15 a.m., Durham police get a phone call. They come to this area and they find the man out front of a house. The house at 97 Park Road South seems to be involved in this in some way, but police haven't said exactly how it is involved or whether an altercation happened inside the house. They say that remains part of their investigation. They are making an appeal to members of the public to help out with the investigation. And we spoke to some neighbors, one neighbor who said this is particularly distressing. But first, here's Durham police.
So that residence is connected to this event. What the connection is part of the ongoing investigation and what role it played. However, I can confirm we currently are on scene at that residence. We don't have any suspect information, which is why we're here making this appeal. We are encouraging anyone to call the homicide unit directly.
I mean, it's the third one in like 3 years now. There was the shooting at Cash Connections, or the stabbing. There was a shooting last week, now this. It's definitely going up.
Now, when it came to the description of the suspect, they said that police said that they were not sure exactly what they were looking for at this point. They had no description. And when they were asked if there was any need to alert the public for public safety reasons, they said at this point they don't think there is any danger to the public. But if that changes, Durham police will notify the public. And they are still asking for anybody to possibly help out. Reporting live, I'm Sean Leathong. Nathan and Natalie, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Sean. The province's police watchdog is investigating after a 24-year-old suspect was shot by officers following a stabbing in North York yesterday afternoon.
5 people were rushed to hospital. The SIU says police responded to the housing complex after reports someone had stabbed 2 family members. CTV's Beth Macdonell has the details.
In the end, 5 people were rushed to hospital, some from the same family, including a 24-year-old man shot by police. Some of the violence unfolding in the back of the housing complex. There's a knife and a broken pair of glasses sitting among the evidence markers.
I'm scared, like, I don't know, it's something scared. This is my first time I see something like that.
The situation started around 3:30 in the afternoon when the Special Investigations Unit says Toronto police were called to an address over reports someone had stabbed 2 family members. Paramedics say those victims are a man with serious, possibly life-threatening injuries and a woman with non-life-threatening injuries. Then, shortly after officers arrived, the SIU says there was an interaction with a person of interest. And that's when an officer fired their weapon and struck a 24-year-old man, sending him to hospital with serious injuries.
They do not want to use force unless it's absolutely necessary. It's the last thing they want to do. Thank goodness they're okay, and that hopefully they've saved any members of the public that could have been hurt as well.
2 Toronto police officers are also among the 5 people who went to hospital.
My understanding is there's some minor cuts to the officers. Thank goodness no one was seriously hurt.
The housing complex is on Shoreham Court in the area of Jane and Steeles. Some in the area tell CTV News they are surprised to learn about the officer-involved shooting and the stabbings, saying it's been a quiet year.
Especially with the holiday season happening, you don't want to hear about people being hurt. It was something that kind of caught the community off guard. I wish the people who were injured a speedy recovery, and I hope there is a resolution to this very soon.
Officers gathered evidence into the night. The SIU says 5 investigators have been assigned to the case, and anyone with information is asked to come forward. Beth Macdonell, CTV News.
Man in his 80s is in hospital after a single vehicle collision late last night. It happened just after 11 o'clock near the Lakeshore and Marine Parade Drive. Police say there were 2 people in the car at the time of the crash. The collision causing the vehicle to flip over. The 80-year-old driver was taken to hospital with serious injuries. An investigation into the incident is underway.
And there were several crashes involving pedestrians in the GTA last night, including one in Mimico that sent a woman in her 30s to hospital. Police responded to the intersection of Lakeshore and Burlington Street just before midnight. Police say the woman was struck and taken to hospital. She's expected to survive. The cause of the crash is under investigation. And in the East End, a woman is in hospital after she was hit by a vehicle last night. This happened just after 9:30 near Gerrard and Carlaw. EMS say they transported a woman to a trauma center with serious injuries. The driver remained on scene, and the cause of this collision is not clear. And in Mississauga, a driver was arrested after striking two pedestrians last night. It happened around 6:15 near Crescent and Indian Road, which is just south of the QEW. Two people were struck and taken to hospital with serious injuries. Police say the driver has been arrested and also taken to hospital. There's been no word on any possible charges.
Still ahead on CTV News this hour, new developments on the release of the Epstein files. The U.S. Justice Department saying some of the claims made against President Donald Trump are false. More on that story a little later in the newscast. But first, with Christmas just days away, shoppers are out in full force searching for last-minute gifts.
Still shopping, but got it all done. Trying to get it all done before the hectic, rush hour.
No, quiet. No, a few more things to get it.
You're kind of a
I got my wife all over the place.
This is just a small thing for my family, and that's it.
Yeah.
Almost done. I was done a month ago.
You're done? But
yeah.
So you're just in here for fun now?
Just doing a return on something.
Oh, okay.
It is down to the wire now with just 2 shopping days left to grab those last-minute gifts. Most malls have extended hours today, staying open until 9:30 p.m. But if you are still scrambling on Christmas Eve, tomorrow you'll have to head out early, with most shopping centers closing around 5 p.m. Well, it's also one of the busiest travel times of the year, with no shortage of passengers coming and going through Pearson Airport.
Many people arriving home to spend time with their families over the holidays. CTV's Allison Hurst was on hand to catch some of the warm welcomes.
The anticipation was mounting as Gur Partap Gill and family waited to see his brother.
He's coming to Canada for his studies now. So just waiting here with these signs and some balloons.
The moment they saw him, they took off for the ramp holding signs and balloons. Ready to embrace a new chapter, living in the same city.
That's the only reason I came on 23rd, because I'm looking forward to see Christmas as well. Christmas is celebrated brilliantly here, so I'm really, excited and want to spend the rest of the time with my family.
Mary Connors could hardly contain her excitement, racing to her parents, who she hadn't seen for almost 2 years.
Brilliant. Yeah,
just
for
the grandkids now.
Yeah. Christmas.
While Pankit Patel's 2-year reunion with her mother left her speechless.
Very. I can't express myself.
Yuman Wang took a few minutes to make a special welcome while waiting for her family to arrive from Korea.
My parents and my older sister is coming.
While Shane Rogan is traveling prepared for that special moment, flowers in hand.
Oh yeah, that was the first stop. I had to pick them up.
He is flying through Toronto to Montreal from Dublin to see his girlfriend.
I'm excited. It's been so long. I haven't seen her since August, so it's great, yeah.
Emotions high for everyone reconnecting.
It's actually been a year. And I live in New York, but I was there on a green card, and with things happening, I didn't feel I could come back until I had my American passport.
Braden Kruger made the trip from Slovakia for just 3 days to see his parents.
My mom's birthday is the 24th, and so I want to be there for that. And my brother's also in Japan, and so I feel a little bit more pressure trying to come home. So get home next year.
First of all, I was crying over other reunions that were happening today, and I'm thrilled.
Thrilled to be reunited this holiday season. Allison Hurst, CTV News.
All right, we got more news in a moment, but first a look at the forecast. Here's a live look at the city this afternoon. Lots of clouds, kind of looks foggy out there. We had some drizzle, but at least we can say we're above the freezing mark. Lindsay Morrison is here with a look at the current conditions. Hey, Lindsay.
Hey, Nathan, you're right. That is fog, and there's a fog advisory in place for a pretty widespread portion of southern Ontario. We, too, are under a special weather statement here in the city of Toronto, but this is warning of the winds that are really going to pick up into the night tonight. And while, for the most part, we are done with the snow and the rain, at least the heavy stuff, hazardous travel remains possible in eastern Ontario. Here's what's left on the satellite and radar. We had a little bit of freezing rain in Waterloo region, for example, this morning. And now as temperatures are rising, any of that snow that's still on the ground out there likely to melt or get washed away. Thanks in part also to that drizzle. Winds are light at this hour, but again, they are really going to strengthen into the night tonight. We are above freezing. It is 2 degrees right now, and we are forecasting a daytime high near 5 for later this afternoon and into the early part of the evening. Next 3 days, very busy travel days. We've got Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and Boxing Day. We're going to take you through the festive forecast coming up. For now, Natalie, I'll send it over to you.
Okay, thank you, Lindsay. Well, we are just 10 months away until Torontonians head to the polls in the next election. And a new poll says Mayor Olivia Chow is currently leading in a potential rematch with former Mayor John Tory. The poll from Liaison Strategies has Chow leading Tory by 4 points with a 39% approval rating. Brad Bradford, the first candidate to declare his intention to run for mayor, follows in third with 16%. Neither Chow nor Tory have declared their intention to run in the next election. The election is October 26th, 2026.
Out west, a proposed referendum question on Alberta separation has been approved.
Those who are enthusiastic about separation will be organized and motivated to do this. Hard to know in advance whether they can get the requisite number of signatures. It is a fairly high bar.
The province's election agency announced the decision yesterday. The question asks, do you agree that the province of Alberta should cease to be a part of Canada to become an independent state? The applicants have until early January to appoint a financial officer for its petition campaign. Then another 4 months to collect about 178,000 signatures. If that happens, the question will be put to Albertans in a referendum.
In the U.S., the Justice Department has released nearly 30,000 more documents related to Jeffrey Epstein, but it says some of the claims in the files are false. The Department of Justice posted a statement on X that reads, quote, some of these documents contain untrue and sensationalist claims made against President Trump that were submitted to the FBI right before the 2020 election. To be clear, the claims are unfounded and false, and if they had a shred of credibility, they certainly would have been weaponized against President Trump already. Nevertheless, out of our commitment to the law and transparency, the DOJ is releasing these documents with the legally required protections for Epstein's victims. A 2020 email by an unidentified prosecutor says flight records showed Trump had flown on Epstein's private jet 8 times during the 1990s. In 2024, Trump said he was never on Epstein's plane. Meanwhile, Trump has commented on photos of Bill Clinton with Epstein. The U.S. president says he is disappointed to see the pictures released publicly.
I like Bill Clinton. I've always gotten along with Bill Clinton. I've been nice to him. He's been nice to me. We've always gotten along. Respect him. I hate to see photos come out of him, but this is what the Democrats, mostly Democrats, and a couple of bad Republicans are asking for. So they give me their photos of me, too. Everybody was friendly with this guy.
The Trump administration published a large cache of Epstein files last week in compliance with a new law, but they contained extensive redactions, angering some Republicans and doing little to diffuse a scandal threatening the party ahead of the 2026 midterm elections.
As Canada heads into the second year of a trade war with the United States, we're getting a new frontman in Washington.
Mark Wiseman will replace Kirsten Hillman in February as Canada's ambassador to the United States. CTV's Jeremy Charles reports on the crucial time as Canada gets set to renegotiate the existing trade agreement.
He is a global investment banker, pension fund manager, and friend of Prime Minister Mark Carney. Now, Mark Wiseman will be Canada's next ambassador to the U.S.
There is going to be an enormous amount of hurdles and landmines that the ambassador is going to have to walk through.
He steps into what is widely viewed as Canada's top foreign post without any diplomatic experience, but the Prime Minister's office points to his extensive experience at American financial institutions and knowledge of capital markets on both sides of the border.
He brings that outside of politics, real-world experience that I think will be of benefit to the country, for sure.
In a social media post announcing the appointment, the Prime Minister says, as a core member of our negotiating team, I know he will advance the interests of Canadian workers, businesses, and institutions.
Carney is betting that Wiseman's finance credentials will command the attention and the respect of Trump.
A bet that couldn't come with higher stakes for the trade relationship between the two countries.
and there's a lot of anxiety over sectoral tariffs and then the CUSMA review. So really important here in this case that the Prime Minister has recruited someone who's a globally recognized deal maker.
In 2025, the current CUSMA deal helps shield Canada from the worst impacts of tariffs. But with its review set to begin in the new year, there are no guarantees.
The president can and quite possibly will walk away from this agreement. And if he does, then I think all bets are off.
Sources tell CTV News Wiseman won't be alone at the negotiating table. The Prime Minister, along with Dominic LeBlanc, the Minister in charge of Canada-U.S. relations, will also play critical roles. Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News, Ottawa.
Overseas, some lucky residents of the UK's largest zoo are getting some early Christmas presents. Animals at the Whipsnade Zoo, north of London, have received some festive treats. And for these lynx, the biggest challenge appears to be how to best unwrap their presents. But not everyone at this conservation zoo is getting something this Christmas. That would be a major task, considering it's home to more than 11,000 animals, and many of them are endangered in the wild. Lindsay.
So we are mild this afternoon and for this evening, but into the overnight hours tonight, the temperature swings back in the other direction. -2 is our forecast overnight low, but it is going to be very windy, so it's going to feel colder than that. It's going to feel like -10 at the coldest point in the evening. Those northwest winds gusting to about 70 kilometers per hour. Here's a look at your Christmas Eve and Christmas Day forecast. You know, the odds of a white Christmas in Toronto have dropped significantly, but this is pretty pleasant for travel. I will say, though, Boxing Day looks a little bit interesting. We'll talk about the risk of freezing rain and snow after this break here on CTV News at noon. Stay with us.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
So I guess 2 shopping days until Christmas, and I guess at least there's no snow on the ground. A little easier to get around town.
Yeah, it's pretty slushy out there, though. So if you're making your way through mall parking lots, you might actually want something waterproof so your feet aren't wet while you're doing your Christmas Eve shopping today.
Happy Christmas Eve to all who celebrate. And yeah, just 2 more sleeps, I believe, until Santa arrives. I know lots of kids are off school. If they're watching, I hope they're excited. It looks like the weather is going to cooperate for Santa's journey. You know, we've got a lot of fog out there today, so Rudolph would have come in handy for getting around early this afternoon and earlier this morning, too. But this is going to dissipate. Overall, the clouds are going to clear into the day tomorrow and the day after that. It's not looking great for a white Christmas in Toronto, but at least travel shouldn't be too tricky tomorrow or Thursday. Weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm Injury Lawyers. You don't pay unless they win. If you had looked out your window last night or very early this morning, you might have thought, hey, perhaps there's a chance of a white Christmas. This is what it looked like in Kitchener as that snow was falling. Big, wet flakes. And yes, the snow did accumulate on the ground. But of course, with the temperature rising and then a changeover to rain or drizzle in many areas, didn't take long for that snow to wash away. And now we still have some weather advisories in place. Again, it remains quite active in eastern sections of Ontario. If you're headed to that part of the province today, just be prepared for potentially hazardous travel conditions. We've got still a fog advisory in place for a widespread area of southern Ontario. And then a special weather statement is warning of the winds tonight in Toronto, which could gust to about 70 kilometers per hour. And those gusts will be out of the northwest. That's a cold wind, and yes, with gusts that strong, could be a little bit damaging in places as well. Satellite and radar, the bulk of the precip has exited. We've still got a little bit of light rain and drizzle happening downtown Toronto. We're quieting down for the next couple of days. I mentioned Friday and Boxing Day. This one could be a little bit tricky. It's still too early for it to show up on our forecast radar, but what we do know is that there's a risk of freezing rain, or we could get some snow. Ahead of that, though, for tomorrow, Mix of sun and cloud. Looks like a bit of an increase in cloud cover through the afternoon. Perhaps a quick burst of flurries. And then Thursday, mix of sun and cloud once again. This is also Christmas Day for those keeping track. And then there's the increase in cloud cover, the start of a little bit of snow early Friday morning. And perhaps in the corner there, you can see the possibility of some freezing rain. So that's Boxing Day Friday. Lots of people likely to be out on the roads once again, maybe doing some shopping. We're going to have to keep an eye on the forecast for that day, too. 2 degrees this hour at Pearson Airport, on our way to an expected daytime high of about 5 degrees. We might not get there until perhaps 5 or 6 p.m. Seasonal norm is now -1. So today we are well above seasonal, and we're expected to be warmer than normal through the overnight hours tonight too. -2 for the low, wind chill -10. There's tomorrow's expected high, 0 for us in Toronto. Could be slightly warmer in some areas and then slightly cooler in others, especially the further north and east you go. Here is the 7-day forecast. So quiet for Wednesday, Thursday, freezing rain or snow for your Boxing Day. Lots of people likely still have travel plans, visiting family that day. Plan your travel accordingly. The weekend brings a chance of showers into Sunday, but look at the cool down once again for Monday. That's the weather for now. Nathan, over to you.
All right. Thank you, Lindsay. Well, just imagine you're surprised to suddenly hear the sound of shattering glass in your home.
Glass tables can be elegant and are generally considered safe, but occasionally they can suddenly break into thousands of pieces. CTV's Pat Foran explains.
A Toronto family says they heard a loud bang in the middle of the night that sounded like a gunshot. They came downstairs to find their glass table had shattered, leaving a huge mess of broken glass.
We were sleeping, and all of a sudden at 4:30 in the morning, we heard a huge bang coming from downstairs.
Sonia Rahman of Toronto says she and her husband got quite a shock when they went to their living room and saw their glass dining room table had shattered into thousands of tiny pieces.
Then I looked down, then I'm like, where's my table? So to our shock, we find that there's shattered glass all over the ground.
Rahman says the table was about 3 years old and there had been no issues with it. At first, she was worried someone was trying to break into her house.
It was like a huge bang. So my thing was, it was probably someone trying to break in through the front door. Even the thought of maybe gunshots outside, it was that loud. We were both shocked and horrified and terrified to see what happened.
There are many cases online that show how glass tables can spontaneously break. Usually this happens with tempered glass, which is stronger than standard glass, but it's also under high internal stress. Sometimes a small scratch or a nick in the glass can be enough to make it explode, and it's often when no one's around. There have been issues with imported glass from China, and this patio set was involved in a recall. Rahman said in the commotion in the middle of the night, her husband slipped and hit his head, but luckily no one was cut.
He's okay, but things could have been much worse.
It took a long time to clean up the mess, and Rahman says going forward, she won't be buying glass furniture again.
Absolutely not. I've learned my lesson. We are going back to traditional wood.
If you have tempered glass furniture, be careful not to hit the edges or allow any hard object to strike the glass. You can also have laminated tempered glass, which is when there is a film over the glass to hold it together if it does break. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
After the break, volunteers are hard at work at one local hospital to ensure patients spending their time there have gifts to open up this holiday season.
Well, this country has faced a lot of challenges this year, not the least of which have been challenges to our sovereignty from our southern neighbors.
CTV senior correspondent Judy Trent looks back on one of the most impactful stories of the year and how Canada is defending its future.
Canada's new government will rebuild, reinvest, and rearm the Canadian Armed Forces.
The Prime Minister's clarion call to defend against a superpower's imperialism.
What I'd like to see, Canada become our 51st state. We give them protection, military protection.
Donald Trump turned his threats into a trade war, pushing Mark Carney to turn the military into an economic shield.
I'm announcing today that Canada will achieve NATO's 2% of GDP target this year, half a decade ahead of schedule.
Carney's first budget invests nearly $82 billion in defense over the next 5 years. There's more money for recruiting, training, and equipment. Soldiers are getting raises and bonuses for serving overseas and deploying in the far north.
The priority is the defense of Canada and the Arctic. So we are investing both in terms of capabilities, but also in terms of planning and programming.
Climate change has made Canada's Arctic and its natural resources vulnerable to foreign intrusion by Russia and China. Better weapons are needed to patrol from the land, sea, and air. In the past, 75% of procurement dollars went to American companies. That's being reduced.
We're not going to be spending 75 cents of our dollar south. We'll be amortizing that money out in Canada where we can, and then spending it in other places where we have to.
The Defence Investment Agency, created in October, aims to ensure that Canadian companies benefit from big procurements, like the plan to replace a fleet of aging submarines. The Navy wants 12 conventional subs.
The reason we need submarines is very simple. It's the only technology in the Navy that guarantees that we control our waters.
There are two competing bids. The Prime Minister visited TKMS, the German-Norwegian conglomerate, in the summer. Then in the fall, Carney visited the South Korean rival, submerging himself in Hanwha's proposal.
I'll be back in 60 days.
The contract, which includes manufacturing and maintenance, could be worth more than $100 billion. The winning bidder is expected to share the rewards.
Buying Canadian, both in terms of steel and aluminum. So that's not a surprise. I think for both submarine manufacturers, they would be looking at that. Obviously, the question of servicing these vessels over time. I mean, remember, this is a long-term investment. We're talking 30, 40, maybe even 50 years.
While the submarine supplier will be chosen next year, the decision on fighter jets is still up in the air. Canada has already purchased 16 F-35s from the U.S. With Trump's tariffs, whether to buy more is being reviewed.
I don't believe that we've had enough jobs created and industrial benefits done out of the F-35.
Then there's the Swedish charm offensive. The King leading the charge to pitch the Gripen fighter and offering to build the Nordic jet in Canada.
The government's steps to diversify our defense and trading relationships are absolutely crucial, but need to be accelerated.
The military budget will continue to increase over the next decade. The Prime Minister, along with NATO allies, has committed to spending 5% of GDP on defense by 2035. That will equate to roughly $150 billion a year, the cost of defending Canada's sovereignty. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
The price of some alcohol products could rise in the new year. The changes come from Premier Doug Ford's plan to expand how alcohol is sold in the province. Convenience stores, bars, and restaurants have been getting a special 15% discount on booze, but that will end this month, with the discount decreasing to just 10%. Restaurants Canada says customers dining out will likely foot the bill.
A new poll suggests Ontarians are waiting too long for diagnostic tests and specialist appointments, causing stress and putting patients' health at risk. The poll, conducted by Abacus Data and released Tuesday, says 33% of respondents waited more than 6 months to see a specialist or get a diagnostic test, and another 37% waited 3 to 6 months. Ontario Health says the average time a patient with a non-emergent condition should wait for a diagnostic scan is between 2 and 28 days. Data from the Canadian Institute for Health Information shows wait times across the country still longer than before the COVID-19 pandemic.
U.S. regulators say they've approved for use a pill version of the weight loss drug Wegovy. The approval by the FDA gives drug maker Novo Nordisk an edge over rival Eli Lilly and its oral drug in the race to market an obesity pill. Both pills mimic a hormone that controls appetite, and officials say the Wegovy pill is expected to be available within weeks. Experts say oral pills could expand access and reduce costs for obesity treatments. While many of us are taking time off during the holidays, volunteers at one local hospital are putting in overtime.
A team at Milton District Hospital is busy crafting gift bags for patients this holiday season. CTV's Pauline Chan paid them a visit.
They're as busy as Santa's elves here in the Arts and Crafts room at Milton District Hospital. Melba Stadler is sewing gift bags.
They have made 65 for us. Then the gift shop people go out and we buy the merchandise that go into the bags.
Things like playing cards, socks, and toiletries. Many of the patients in the continuing transitional care unit are elderly with few visitors, so gifts are always appreciated. The ladies also make personalized dolls for pediatric patients.
We start by cutting out these dolls and sewing them up, and then we stuff them, and we make little gowns for them. And we dress them, and they're taken to the pediatric ward. And from there, the doctors and nurses, they usually mark where the operation is going to be. They put little IVs on their arms, and they're given to the children that they can make their face and take them home with them.
For those staying overnight, colorful pillowcases.
Most of the fabrics are donated, and I love putting together, I'll show you a whole one, something bright and cheerful.
375 volunteers at the hospital. We just celebrated 65 years of being an auxiliary, which is incredible.
HR Director Michelle LaRue says while scheduled surgeries go down over the holidays, admissions are usually high because of emergencies and respiratory illnesses. And for those heading into surgery, the volunteers help there too.
So we keep the doctors and their offices supplied with these. And what they have in them is all the information that the surgeon's going to need to require.
At Halton Healthcare, we have over 1,300 volunteers across all 3 sites, all bringing a little bit something special to each hospital.
We ask in the community if people will save their Christmas cards, and the girls cut them all out and punch them, and they go to the Christmas wrap.
The gift wrapping desk at the local mall uses the gift tags on the presents they wrap.
The Christmas gift wrap at Milton Mall continues until December 24th, and even on Christmas Day, there will be some volunteers here at the hospital helping wherever they're needed. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
And still to come, a lottery winner gives back. Find out how a $70 million jackpot recipient helped to make Christmas a little brighter for her community.
The struggling Maple Leafs return to action in a rare matinee game, desperate for a win against the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Nick Watt digging down the ice. Watt all the way, scores!
The Leafs return home after a tough 3-game road trip, not picking up even a single point and being outscored 14-4. Toronto still sits last in the Atlantic Division, 6 points out of a playoff spot. Puck drop this afternoon is just after 4. And this will be the team's first game without assistant coach Mark Savard behind the bench. Now, he was fired by the team yesterday. Savard had been with the team since June of last year and was responsible for the team's power play, which currently ranks last in the NHL with a success rate of 13.3%.
And the Toronto Scepters hit the ice tonight, hosting the Ottawa Charge.
Malte on the Leafs, he scores!
The Scepters are coming off a 4-3 win in New York against the Sirens on Sunday. Toronto currently sits in 3rd place with 10 points through 6 games. The Charge are currently in last place with just 1 win in 7 games. Puck drop tonight is 7 p.m. at Coca-Cola Coliseum.
And on the hardwood, the Raptors will be looking to get back into the win column, visiting the Miami Heat.
5 seconds, 4 seconds, quick. Back-to-back freeze.
The Raptors have lost 2 in a row, coming off a 96-81 defeat in Brooklyn against the Nets. Toronto has just 2 wins in its last 8 games, slipping to 5th in the Eastern Conference. Tip-off tonight is just after 7:30 in Miami.
Well, there was a holiday surprise for shoppers near Ottawa yesterday, all thanks to a lottery jackpot winner.
Patricia Warden won $70 million last year, and true to her word at the time, she's using that money to help others. CTV's Leah LaRocque has more.
I am here to present you with a Christmas gift today. Really? I am.
An unexpected act of generosity on a trip to the grocery store.
My goodness, I don't believe it.
Leaving Fred Warnell speechless and in tears.
Don't cry, love, don't cry, because you'll make me cry, and I'm ugly when I cry.
Patty Warden giving out more than $20,000 in grocery gift cards. A small act of paying it forward, she says, after becoming a multi-millionaire.
Congratulations, Patty.
Last May, Warden won the $70 million Lotto Max.
Since winning $70 million, Patty has been giving a lot of it away to people in need in the best ways she knows how. She says it's because she knows firsthand what it's like to go without.
Some traumatic things happened to me. Then it turned out I had cancer. And then when I got better, instead of being smart and picking up my life where it left off, I ended up downtown on drugs. I was homeless for some time, sleeping on a park bench. And with coffee, you always need a ton of sugar.
After building her life back, the mother of 4 says the money was life-changing.
It's changing the aspect of being able to do more for others, but for my personal self, hasn't changed at all. And today you got a $300 gift card to help with Christmas dinner.
What?
Yes.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Which is why when Warden heard that many families couldn't afford to put Christmas dinner on the table this year, she wanted to do something.
She's always been like this, so I'm not surprised, but I think she's incredible for doing it.
And there was one more surprise for Warnell. He had no idea the gift card was for $300.
My goodness gracious, I don't believe it. I'm lost.
A moment Warden says is priceless.
I want the world to be happy, that's all. I'm just trying to share my happiness.
Leah LaRocque, CTV News.
We'll get your tickets handy. The Lotto Max jackpot remains at a maximum $80 million prize for a 4th draw in a row tonight. It has been nearly 2 months of twice-weekly draws with no ticket matching all 7 numbers picked. The pot has been growing or rolling over from $10 million since one ticket won a $40 million jackpot on October 28th. Tonight's Lotto Max prize pool will also feature 43 Max Millions draws for $1 million each.
In the U.S., the Powerball jackpot is now, get this, $1.7 billion after the latest draw without a winner.
Right after that, America, we have 54.
Last night's was the 46th draw without someone taking home the eye-popping prize. The next chance will be Christmas Eve, with the jackpot expected to be the 4th largest in U.S. lottery history. The odds of winning are 1 in 292.2 million. Still a chance. Coming up, a family-run ceramic shop that has been a staple in our city for more than a century reopens its doors after a devastating blaze. We have the story just ahead. Get ready to set the table. Toronto's oldest fine china shop is back in business.
A devastating fire more than a year ago could have spelled the end, but it wasn't enough to shatter the family-run store that has been a staple in this city for more than 100 years. CTV's Carol Charles has the story.
It's a big one. Yeah. It's done by John Connolly.
Yes. For most of us, we rarely give our plates and serving bowls a second thought. But for Will Hawkridge and his father Albert Hawkridge, it is a lifelong endeavor.
This is the Waterford Kennedy Bowl. It was presented to John F. Kennedy by Ireland.
The father and son are the proud owners of Hawkridge China on Yonge Street, where so many pieces tell a story.
This piece was made by Royal Dalton to commemorate my grandfather's 60th year of working at repairing china.
That's right, repair china. No gluing broken pieces or tossing into the trash for this family-owned business spanning 4 generations. This year, marking 125 years in business. Founded in 1900 by patriarch Albert Hawkridge, the store has become a Toronto institution and a place for those who are looking for fine china and rare antiques.
Most things deteriorate. China doesn't. Could last for hundreds and hundreds of years.
People appreciate the stuff that has really high quality, hand-painted things that are more as much art as they are just everyday china.
The family legacy almost lost in May of 2024 when the second floor space caught fire. Hawkridge China sustained water damage and needed structural repairs.
We did our best to get through it. It was a difficult time.
Nearly 18 months later, they reopened for business. Father and son back again, working side by side.
A lot of family businesses, the next generation or something feels forced into doing it. whereas William seemed to naturally be drawn to it the same as I was.
He definitely, inspired me to put forth my best effort into things and to always try and have as much passion for what I'm doing as I possibly can.
And with determination to offer customers something unique.
This dog was put in the James Bond movies in M's office. So I moved towards things that are more unique and, hand-painted things. Each piece is its own piece, right? Because nobody paints it exactly the same again.
In the end, this isn't just a shop. It's a family legacy. After decades in business, it now proudly passes to the next generation. Carol Charles, CTV News.
All right, with 2 days to Christmas, we now know it's likely not going to be a white Christmas, no snow on the ground for Nathan to go sledding.
And I've got no problem with that. I'm not a kid that toboggans. I know the kids want it, but it's safer on the roads.
I think most people are okay with this, especially if they have travel plans. They want dry roads, and that looks to be the case, especially tomorrow and the day after that. But here's one more look at our current satellite and radar. It's still a little drizzly out there, and it's foggy in many areas, so be mindful of that as you venture out. Tomorrow's forecast daytime high is 0. Here's the next couple of days, mix of sun and cloud for both Wednesday and Thursday, which is Christmas Day, but a reminder, Boxing Day. We're keeping an eye on the forecast right now. We're not quite sure if it's going to be freezing rain or snow or a combination of the two, but that's the day that you may want to alter your travel plans just slightly. Nathan and Natalie.
All right, thank you, Lindsay. And that's it for CTV News at noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and all of us here at CTV News, thank you for watching. I'm Natalie Johnson.
And I'm Nathan Downer. Be sure to join us later for CTV News at 5 and 6. Have a great afternoon.